This is Adamantly Analog, episode 75. This week we talk about our biggest gaming surprises, and I share my thoughts on the newest Stonemaier game, Origin Story. Hello and welcome to Adamantly Analog, the only board gaming podcast that stays crunchy in milk. I'm your host, Harrison Dunn.
And I'm Corey Murphy.
Hey, Corey. It's another week. It's another episode of our favorite podcast that we record, and our only podcast that we record. What do you want to talk about this week?
I want to talk about cereal. You said crunchy and milk, and it made me think, I don't know if I'm a crunchy and milk kind of guy. I would rather that it gets a little softer. But have you ever had graham crackers in a bowl, broken up into little pieces, and you pour milk over them and eat them like cereal?
No, I have not.
It's amazing. Go get yourself a box of graham crackers. Yeah, my grandmother would make it for us, and we call it graham cracker mush. And you just pour milk over it, and you eat it with a spoon. It's delicious.
Okay, yeah, I'll take your word for it, because that doesn't sound like something that I've ever done.
Well, you don't have to take my word for it. You have to just try it yourself. Graham crackers are like $3, but you got to get the cinnamon ones too. And I would recommend name brand, because Kroger brand graham crackers are C+ at best.
Yeah, I've had some sketchy ones in the past for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Not great. Cool. Well, we actually have a non-cereal topic for everyone today, right? We're going to talk about games that surprised our expectations, which, as always, we're going to interpret that however we want, because it's our show.
Yeah,
so
as always.
Could be games that we ended up liking a lot more than we thought, games that we ended up disliking a lot more, or something in between, you know. But before we get to that, what have you been playing recently? You want to tell everyone what happened last weekend?
Well, I think we were together playing games. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes. I was talking about the fact that we finally got a chance to knock a few items off of the to be played list, and it was actually entirely new games on that list. We're like, oh, we haven't played this together yet. Let's put that on there.
Yep. And after last week, where I was like, oh, I didn't really play any games, I made up for it big time this past weekend, because on Friday we had a game night, on Saturday we had a game night, and on Sunday, Nikki and I played the game that you left for us to borrow twice. So nice. I've got plenty to talk about, and I will try to contain myself, but I'm about to ooga booga all over this. So I think whatever that means. I think maybe just a list is in order here, because I couldn't possibly do all of this in under 45 minutes if you get me going. But Harrison came to our house and played some games, and tried to walk through our kitchen while our dog was barking wildly and jumping all over him, because she does that. Sorry, Harrison. But thank you for bringing Fliptoons. That was very fun to play. I'm looking forward to doing more of that. Vivo, and what else did you bring, Harrison?
Of what we played? That's all. Yeah, that's all that we played.
Okay. Yeah, Harrison brought a lot of stuff. So I supplied the Castles of Burgundy. That was kind of like the main feature on our game day. We played the new edition of Castles of Burgundy 2-on-2 version, with teaming up with our wives. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, it was. It was a very, very different experience than kind of what I was expecting to get into. So
yeah,
it was cool. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, and scores were like 400 to 500 points in the two-player, because the zones are so much bigger and there's so many more of them, that we were playing with the ends, so you could even expand them beyond that. And I think you guys had like a 55-point play at one point, didn't you?
Yes, it felt really good, and we discouraged Nikki a little bit by doing it, but y'all ended up with the win.
Yeah. What was the score? Let me look this up.
It was like 455 to 500 or something like that.
That's insane.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so Castles of Burgundy co-op, or this 2v2 method, it plays almost exactly the same, except you share a board with a person. You still take individual turns. You still keep individual score. So you could say, like, on average, you guys scored 250 points apiece. On average, we scored 225 apiece.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes it a lot more reasonable.
Right. And just to kind of like paint the picture for those that are trying to imagine how this works, it's two pieces, like two board pieces that you literally just put next to each other. Even with
Yeah.
the fancy edition, you can't do the inlaid player boards and all the cool like I don't know. It doesn't have the double layered player board is what I'm trying to say. So you
Yeah,
have to
which is a
just
little
kind of make it
sad.
work with the boring old flat ones. So
Hmm.
I'm waiting for someone on Etsy to come up with an overlay or some kind of two-player version of it that you can buy because it is really fun. I'd probably do it again at some point once I have a spare 4 or 5 hours on my hands.
Right. Yeah, it was definitely took longer than a regular game because there's a lot more to consider. Is you can go back and forth and do a lot more long-term strategy planning uh, between the two of you.
Yeah, that's definitely a factor, and just the bigger board, you have more choices to begin with. But
Hmm.
I don't know about you, Harrison, but I'm not really one to agonize over my decision when I have a teammate, but I know that others are, and like there's a little extra pressure when you're making a decision for on behalf of the team, and
Right.
so I I think I could speak for Nikki when I say she is one of those people and wants to really think through things, and as a result, usually does really well in games. But
Yeah.
I'm pretty reckless, so I think we balance each other out a little bit in that way.
Yeah. Yeah. I like to try to find the middle ground if I can. I mean, usually I
Yeah,
can't, but yeah.
fast and loose. I always say that's my strategy. Um,
For sure.
so on our Friday game night, I did not play this game with Harrison, but I know Harrison has played this game because he's talked about it on the podcast. I just wanted to cover Magical Athlete because it's
Yes.
kind of a new buzz game these days. It's attributed to Richard Garfield, but I realized he didn't actually design this game because it's right because it's a
Right.
remake.
Yep. Yeah, it is
Yeah.
uh yeah, it came out in 2003, I think was the original one, and then he sought out the original designer and was like, "Hey, you want to work on this together? We want to do it again." And the original designer was just, "No, you go do it."
Yeah.
Richard Garfield did a big BGG designer diary on it and for more info, which I thought was pretty cool.
Takashi Ishida is the original designer, for the record. And we talked about we went over that on the podcast when you brought this up the first time, but
Mhm.
I just wanted to give my 2 cents on the game because it is as exciting as you described when you dump the box out and like the 32 individualized meeples come out and they're all colorful and psychedelic and very 70s.
Oh yeah.
And you're essentially drafting one single meeple to be your racer each time you play a race, and you do 4 rounds, and you're like flipping the board upside down each time and getting a different track. But for the most part, it is just a simulation and not so much a game, because you pick your racer and then they just kind of go. Like you have some decisions to make with their abilities because they each have a different, unique, individualized thing that they do. But for the most part, you're rolling a die and moving your racer forward, activating when it's appropriate to do so. But it's very, very straightforward. So I think some of the fun in this game is just the comical things that happen when the different types of characters interact with one another, and how like the banana can trip like the giant baby or something weird, and it tells a fun story.
Right. Yeah. It's a very goofy game and it's all about that experience at the table, right? It just like
Yeah.
if you define playing a game as like having that shared experience at the table with someone, this is such a unique thing to exist, especially in like the hobby board game space. In today's age, I think there are a lot. I think like this is closer to the expected experience of a lot of older games, maybe
Hmm.
closer to when this came out even uh, originally. But yeah, this is it's a very cool thing to exist, and I have pre-ordered a copy with my friendly local game store.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I would enjoy introducing this to people. I don't know how often I'd like be itching to play it because, like I said, there's not a lot of real true decision space. It's more like a thing that you just like see what happens. And after a while, once you've played a few of the characters, I think you kind of get the idea. You don't you don't need to dig too much deeper, but it is hilarious. Now, Harrison, have you played the two-player version of this?
I have not. I was just about to ask you how many players you played with.
Yeah, we played with 4. It plays up to 6, but my
Hmm.
understanding is that the two-player version, you will have 2 racers on the track at a time, in which case
Yes.
the decision space becomes exponentially larger because you get to decide which one you're gonna move with the die. And so I think that's, like, almost a whole different game in that case.
Yep. Yeah. It's what is it? 3-player also does the same thing. Each player controls
Oh,
2
does it?
racers. Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm very interested in trying that out. I'm not sure Lauren would be up for it, but I think that would be pretty
Yeah.
interesting to try.
That becomes a little more like chess-like, a little more confrontational in that way.
I
Whereas it's
think
just kind of a
chess is
whimsical
maybe
party
a
game.
bit far, but yeah.
It gets closer to chess at that point. But yeah, I guess with the die, it's inherently not chess, isn't it?
Yes. Just like your house is closer to New York than my house, but
Yeah,
we're still pretty both
yeah,
far
yeah.
away.
So this is a CMYK game, and CMYK is kind of killing it with the sort of like art piece kind of approach to things, and they do a very good job of the table presence, I think, as a result of just the color and like sort of a unique art style in a lot of the games that have been coming out from them lately. We played another one. I'm going to save it for my surprises episode. I'm excited to talk about that. But it happens to be another recent game, hint, hint, that is also a racing game. So we'll talk about that shortly. But our neighbors brought just a bunch of these CMYK games over to our house. The third one was Food Fight. Have you ever seen Food Fight?
I have heard of it. I've not played it.
It is once again an art piece. It is like the cards have this weird, like abstract. It almost looks like they took a spray can and tried to like paint fruits by just like blasting the spray can at the paper. So it's like they look blurry. I don't know how else to describe it. You have to take a look. But it is a simple card game. It is almost like a watered down version of Flip 7. It's kind of like push your luck sort of thing, where you are almost stealing the cards from other players as you flip up similar matching ones to them. And the concept is that you can flip 3 cards without any penalty, but after the first 3 cards are flipped, anytime you flip a duplicate, you are out of the round. So you push your luck trying to get as many, different fruits as you can, each with a different point value. And if you get a duplicate, you're out of the round. But if I flip a cherry and you have a cherry in front of you, I can steal your cherries. So that's kind of it. It's very, very straightforward, very simple, and it comes in an unnecessarily large box, almost like a DVD box set type of size. This box
But it's
is
also
fancy.
bright pink.
It's bright pink. It's the magenta series, but it's bright pink. Don't ask. You slide it out of like a sleeve. It's very cool looking. It's got this fruit art all over it. You open the box up, and it is literally just a deck of cards in the middle of the box. There's like a tiny little rule book, and that's it. It could be a pocket-sized thing, but I think it is decidedly just extra on purpose. But yeah, we had fun with that. It was, short little game, 20 minutes. Got done with it, and I was thinking, actually, I just kind of want to play Flip 7 now, so we did that too.
I didn't realize they did a version of No Thanks in their Magenta series too, which feels like it's in line with that. And boy, the graphic design on this one is wild. The cards are like a white or a silver with like a neon green printing on them, and then the No Thanks tokens are all little pink wooden discs, magenta wooden discs, each with a different face printed on them, like a smiley face type thing. Yeah, that is I like my version that I got at Ding and Dent for like $5, but
yeah,
this is also interesting. Oh, apparently, this is a rabbit hole that I might cut from the episode, but might not. CMYK's website lists for each of their games player count, time, ages, and mood. And the mood for No Thanks is Schadenfreude. So, yeah. Fruit Fight, the mood is social and exciting. Okay, this is a much less exciting rabbit hole than I thought. I thought they were just going to put like goofy things on there. Wacky and exciting for Magical Athlete. Never mind. Schadenfreude.
I don't think you should cut that. That's good information. You can categorize your games by mood in the in the Calyx.
Yep.
Put all the Schadenfreude ones on the bottom right, and all right. What have you played, Harrison?
Well, people have been asking me, as a fan of games with cards and numbers, they've been asking me if I've been interested in Origin Story, the new Stonemaier trick-taking game that is also a superhero game. And I was like, I don't know anything about it. I guess I'll do some research. And then I did some research and I was like, this seems pretty cool. I think I'm just going to get a copy. Well, an hour after I pressed buy was our game night, and then somebody showed up with the copy of the game, and I was like, oh, I better
Mm.
play this right now in case I want to cancel my order. I'm not canceling my order.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I'll start up with the lead. I really enjoyed it. It is a very bizarre game. There's a lot going on, but it all kind of gels together.
Mm.
So the gist of it is, at its core, a trick-taking game. You're trying to just win tricks with numbered cards. There's 4 suits. It's like uh, brains, power, speed, and then love is the trump suit.
Hmm.
And it's those numbers 1 through 13. Those suits. And before each round, you get to pick a superpower. You get dealt 3 superpowers, and then you pick one of them and reveal it and add it to your player board. And your player board has a base level hero power printed on it, and then you accumulate these through each of the rounds. And then you put stamina. You get these little like stamina bubbles that you put on them to like charge up which abilities you're going to use this round. You usually can't use all of them, so you also have this like engine building aspect and a little which build do I want to try to go with this time.
Hmm.
Lots of different layers, but then it's just trick taking too. And it's got this like very unusual watercolor art style to it that I think is kind of off-putting at first for some people, at least a lot of people at our table. But it grows on you, and by the end of it, you're like, oh man, this is a really cool storytelling tool. It has like a look what I did at the end of it moment, which I'm always a fan of. And yeah, I'm very excited to play it again. It goes up to 5 players. Apparently has a solo mode. Yeah, I mean, what more do you want?
Does it have some kind of there's nothing like campaign about it, is there?
No, no, you
No?
make a hero throughout the course of play. So you like slowly discover powers each round
Gotcha.
that add up to an ability. Like I was the character board that was like a Asian twist of fate type character, and
Mhm.
I think her name was Maylin or something like that. And then my first power was echolocation, and it was basically if I ever win a trick when I'm not the leader, I get a bonus VP. But then
Mm.
I have to give lead to someone else. I can't ever lead. I just always. But if I win when not leading, I get points, and that was a lot of fun to play around. And then I ended up getting another power that said I get a bonus stamina for using more powers if I win the last trick of the game. So it's like, oh, those two synergize together. So I was able to build some stuff around that, which ended up feeling pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Nice.
and then the other part that I didn't, not even talking about, right before you start each round. So you get your hand of cards. You get to pick a new power. You get to assign stamina, and then finally you get to decide if you want to be a hero or a villain. So the score tracker that you're using is this like double dial thing, and it's got a hero side and a villain side. So you secretly pick one side, and everyone simultaneously reveals. Hero side, at the end of the round, you gain 1 point per or you get 1 VP per trick you've won. Villain side, you gain 4 VP if you won no tricks.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, shooting the moon.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. So there were some there were some fun moments at our table. So not everyone plays trick-taking games well, including myself. Where folks would be like, "I'm gonna go villain," and then proceed to take like 3 or 4 tricks. Or
Yeah.
they at the end of words they were like, "Oh, I should have just gone villain because I didn't win a single trick that round." But it was still really fun to see what everyone was building and what powers they had.
Is it, like, thematically a health tracker? It looks like a health dial in, like, Marvel
No,
Champions or something. No?
no, it's you're taking it up every time.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Hmm,
Yeah.
very cool. I have to try this. I did not hear of this until you just mentioned it. It's like
It
seems like it's right up my alley. I love trick takers and I love superheroes.
Yeah, I mean, they announced it like a month ago or so, and
Okay,
now it's fulfilling right now. So,
gotcha.
in typical Stonemaier fashion, they have it all ready to go. They just do a pre-order, and then ship it.
Hmm,
Yeah.
hmm. Yeah, the art is unusual. You don't see watercolors and superheroes paired together very often, so
No,
this is a different take. I like that.
it's the same artist that I think did Wormspan.
Okay, I can
Yeah,
see that. Yep.
yeah.
Cool.
All right, well, let's head on to that episode topic.
Yeah.
All right, so today's topic is games that surprised our expectations, or games that didn't expectations us.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how words do.
Let's just say games we were surprised by. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Uh, yeah. Whoa, surprising game. No,
All
I forgot
right.
to look up first player rule here, Corey. You
I
got anything
gotcha.
off the cuff? You do.
I gotcha. Yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and type into Google who goes first, Corey or Harrison.
Oh no,
And it
don't ask AI.
says there's a Wikipedia page for a guy named Corey Harrison, who is Big Hoss, an American businessman and reality TV personality. I think on the Pawn Stars show. Yeah, Pawn Stars. Let's see. I think that because his first name is Corey, I think it means I go first.
I think I I think that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, what a surprising way to start this episode.
Surprise! This is how we do it now. All right. Well, I think that's important because I have a good segue from what you just brought up. So there wouldn't be any other more natural way to talk about Vantage than to segue from the most recent Stonemaier game that was surprisingly watercolored for a superhero game. But my choice is Vantage. This is the game that Harrison brought down with him on Saturday and left at our house thinking, "Hey, you guys want to borrow it?" We weren't planning that, so I was like not expecting to play it to begin with, but we have talked about this game on the podcast, and I kind of resigned to think that it's not really for me. I'm not into story games. I skip all the dialogue in RPGs. I don't really buy into games that don't have like solid mechanical features to them because I'm a very like mechanically minded gamer, you know?
Mhm. Yep.
And then I looked at all the cards and all the text. And I'm like, oh my god, okay, definitely not the case. I'm not gonna bother with this one. But then Harrison just brought it to my house and just left it there. so on Sunday, I told Nikki about it because this is like right up her alley though. She dug this idea and was like eager to play it. We played it in the morning. And then we had to do a bunch of like real life adult things for a while. And as soon as we had free time again, Nikki's like, okay, should we do it one more time? It was like 8 o'clock at night on a Sunday. And so it's actually amazing. I was blown away by this game. Not to mention the scope of this thing. Holy crap. There's like 1,500 cards in here, all with different art. I
Oh yeah,
can't even believe it.
it
Yeah.
is bonkers.
It is bonkers. And so for those that don't know, I mean, Vantage is a pretty big deal right now, so I'm sure many are aware. But Vantage is a game where you are basically exploring. It's kind of like a free roaming, I don't know, something simulator, like exploration simulator, right?
Right.
You crash land your ship on a planet, and where, if you're playing with other players, you crash land in different locations on that planet, and you're dealt a card that shows your vantage of the scene you're in. And only you can see it because you're the only one there. You can describe it to your peers, but you can't show them the card. And then when you make a decision on how you want to act in that location, you have to tell them the entry in which type of book they need to look up the result of that action. And so there's like, what is it, 5 or 6 basic core actions that you can do. And all of them are represented by a different colored rule book. And then it's kind of like just a big elaborate choose your own adventure, which once again, it's not really my thing. I was kind of like, oh, okay, it's just like one of those books that we read and didn't have a very good through line because the plot was just convoluted by the time you got done with it, right?
Right.
But it's incredible. Oh my god, I can't say enough about this. Like, even if you're not interested in playing this game, try it because I was surprised by it personally. But you have to recognize the feat of design that this is. It is, I mean, it's just essentially writing this giant epic novel that has like different potential spider webs that can kind of go through like different through lines that are just woven between each other. And it really does come to be a like semi-coherent story when you're done. It's like it's kind of miraculous how that works. So lots of fun. The mechanical parts of it that surprised me the most were the fact that those decisions that you're making, like they mattered a lot for your ability to continue in the game. And you essentially get these skill tokens that are representing the different colored actions. Every time you take one of those actions, you can contribute skill tokens to reduce the challenge level of that action. because the challenge level has to do with the number of dice you roll. And each die you roll is a risk of some kind of setback, either in time, health, or morale. And so once you hit 0 on any one of those 3 elements, those 3 tracks, you're dead. The game has ended, right? Or you're out of time or out of morale or whatever.
Mhm.
So you have to like really assess the risk. And as you explore, you get different cards and different allies and different spells that can make it easier for you to do that in different areas. So you do kind of like personalize and sort of, kind of go off in one direction. I'm really good at dealing with morale, or I'm really good at dealing with these challenges. And
Mhm.
it is really fascinating on how you discover those things and how you shape your decisions based on that. So yeah, thanks for leaving that, Harrison.
Yeah, I would definitely put a caveat on that I think it is way better probably with one or two players.
Yeah, I would
First
agree.
time I played it was 4, and it was way too much of a slog. One of my coworkers, Jess Carrier, our marketing person, played it with 5 or 6 people recently, and it was an all night sort of thing. But she does want to go back and try it with fewer players. And said she wouldn't do it again with that many. But yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it because I'm at the point where I don't think that I want to play it with Lauren, and it was just a bit too much for me to do solo right now.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get rid of it. So it's like, what do I? Oh, I'll let my friend Corey borrow it or see if he
Yeah.
wants to. So
Yeah.
yeah, I kind of surprised me with that, but I'm glad you're enjoying it.
We should play it together. I think it would be really group dependent. Like if I played it with someone that didn't like it as much as Nikki did, I think it would be harder for me to get into it. But because we were both so invested in the story and like kind of almost like pushing our luck to some extent, it like I don't know, like the payoff of those decisions and those chances we took was so much greater.
Hmm.
Without giving anything away, like you do have a mission that you start with, something that you're trying to accomplish, and when you accomplish that thing, you can either kind of like be done, or you can try to accomplish more things, and that sort of unlocks different lore with the game. And our mission was essentially basically to find each other on the planet, and so we did in one of our games. It was really cool. I like climbed some runes and kind of could scope out the area. You sort of get glimpses of different parts of the map and can kind of piece together like what we've seen and interpret, like different elements of the art. It was really fascinating. So it was cool to like accomplish something in the game, but it was also cool to fail too and like, just start to discover like what we were attempting to do once we sort of found our way.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that was an experience that I you don't get solo is that like
Right.
collaborative element that is supposed to be very integral to it. So,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I definitely owe this game another try, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Don't sell it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can't sell it because you have it.
Well,
unless
well, when I get
unless
back
Corey, and Corey, you want to buy it from me?
we'll talk off the cast, but but we have to play it, the three of us first.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so that was Vantage 2025 from Stonemeyer.
All right. The first one I want to talk about is a big surprise to me. I feel like this is one way to take it is to talk about how just like board games in general constantly surprised me when I was much younger. And so one of the first games that like kind of really opened my eyes to what board games could do as far as telling a story and creating an atmosphere um, it's Small World, and I think I played that with you and Sam. I think was
Mhm.
like when we were first getting into board games. Yeah, I think was visiting you guys in Milwaukee, and we played this at somebody's apartment.
Yeah.
Um, and I at that point I think my board gaming experience was like Settlers of Catan, Dominion, maybe. And at that point I was like, yeah, I like board games, right? Settlers of Catan, Dominion, not Monopoly. Um, but Small World really opened up my eyes to what exactly was out there. This was very different than a lot of the things I had played because it's very directly confrontational, but it's still using familiar elements. It has like the customization, different every time element of Dominion. It has the map and like spatial presence of Catan, and still very very different from both of those games. And to this day, Small World is like I still think of it as like this just unassuming thing, and every time I play it, I'm like, oh man, No, this is super cool. You get to like mix and match these powers, and each one of them just tells such a specific story with the mechanics and the design of the characters that I really enjoyed it. So, uh, for I've gone on about how much I love this and how much this game has surprised me, and I haven't explained what it is for no one for anyone who has not played Small World, but it's effectively a dudes on a map fighty game, which I historically do not care for. But each round, you have the option to expand your existing troops or to retire and set up for a brand new set of troops, which are all represented by these little cardboard chits. And your army or your civilization is represented by two random pieces, an A and a B. It's an adjective and a race. So you could have like and we're gonna make up adjectives: the fighty dwarves, or the peaceful elves, or
Hill giants.
seafaring giants. Yeah, hill dwarves. And each of these things feels like they play very differently, and they can be mix and match. You could have the hill dwarves one game, and the hill giants the next game, and the hill elves the game after that. So there's just a lot of space in there, and the combat is also like really really simple. It's basically to conquer a territory, you got to have two more pieces than the number of pieces there, and pieces could be enemy troops, they could be like mountains or fortifications, or just like uh, ancient lost civilizations that are remnants of past players, or stuff from setup. So very like simple and streamlined, but it gets a lot of its complexity and replayability from these like mix and match characters that just randomly generate each time.
If I could offer a counter take to this one, I this in a I don't dislike this game. Let me just say that first of all. But I bought this one a long time ago. This is one of the first board games I added to my collection. The cover art is like so vibrant and cool, and it's got like all the different races, but essentially like in this King of the Hill scenario, which is kind of
Mhm.
how the game feels, right? You're like sort of pushing, you're pushing it to see how far you can take this race before you have to put it in decline, is what it's called in the game, which essentially is like taking a turn off to like retire your race in your army and then select a new combination for the next round. And I think this game never really delivered for me. I think it promised so much, and it's got such cool ideas with the different race and adjective combinations. And I mean, that like determined how many tokens you got in the first place. And the combat was like simple and streamlined. And it's just essentially like, I don't know, it's fast. It's kind of this blistering fast pace, just like dropping tokens around and going from there. But it felt like the decision space was like so wide that it almost didn't really matter what I did sometimes. It could be just so swingy. You know what I mean? Did you ever get that feeling with this?
Um, yes, but I attribute some of that to just like it being an older design.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, yeah, I think the design sensibilities, uh, and just like the balance wasn't quite there for the experience that they ended up like creating.
Yeah.
Because there are some, on one hand, there are some like combinations that if someone gets, you're like, oh, okay, you just win right now, and you're gonna have like such good turns back to back that we don't have any chance of really catching up. But on the same side, like yeah, there can be a lot of turns, especially the early turns, where you're just kind of spreading out and not really confronting, and it doesn't really feel like you're that impactful.
Right.
So yeah,
That's exactly that's kind of the whole game. It's just like spreading out as much as you can and risking just getting rolled over. But
mhm,
you can pretty much approach from any like any space neighboring the edge of the board, right? So you can just
right.
kind of come in pretty much anywhere. There's no safe place to be. So yeah, I don't know. It feels a little wild. I'd like to see someone like take this concept and try to kind of update it to be tighter with like more decisions that like mattered more. I don't know for lack of a better way of saying that. But again, I think it's a great idea. It's a cool concept, and I love the idea enough to buy it in the first place. I played it lots, but I never felt like it really brought it home for me.
Okay, fine, I'll do it.
So
I'll make
yeah.
a new Small World for you,
Yeah,
Corey.
please do. I'm surprised no one's done it, like with the adjective and race thing. Like, I think that's the big cool innovation that this one does, and it's like, wow, that's so fun. Like, let's see it. Kind of smash up, right? Like, it's combining two different armies.
Yep. Yeah. There's a lot that can happen in that space for sure. Yeah. Cool. That is my number one pick. Small World from Days of Wonder, 2009.
Ooh, that feels like just yesterday.
No, disagree.
All right. So my second pick is also a 2025 game and one that I recently played. How about that? I'm staying so current this week. Man, it's like I'm doing my homework. This is another one of the CMYK games that I alluded to earlier, and it is the other racing game that they recently released, Hot Streak. Have you seen Hot Streak in a box? You played this, right?
Yep, I have played this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. It looks like a literal toy. Like, the box has,
Yep.
like, a clear display panel on it, and inside of it are these big, colorful plastic meeples. And the freaking board rolls out of the box, like, on a twisty handle. I don't know what to call that, but it looks
Yeah.
like a Saran
It's like
wrap.
a roll up. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, they went way above and beyond with this, and I think that's the only version of the game you can get. There's no
Yep.
cardboard or anything. Is totally unnecessary. So I felt like this game was doing so much to have a table presence that it was trying to hide like a bad game design initially. But it turns out the game is actually really good. And unlike Magical Athlete, this one is a little bit more like there's much more decision space and much more strategy to it, yet it
Mhm.
has the same whimsy and kind of fun moments that Magical Athlete does. The concept is hilarious to me. You've got a bunch of mascots that are racing each other, and the mascots have funny names. There's like a queen and like this bear and whatnot, and you can see the like little human eyes poking out of the mascots and stuff. And the idea is that you're betting on them in this race. The mascots have different decks of cards that are all color coded to match them, and each of them is represented by the same number of cards in the deck, but they have slightly different variations on what they do. And at the start of the game, you're going to flip up, I think it's like 10 cards. It might be determined by the number of players. But you can see all laid out in front of you what cards are going to be put into the deck to actually, make the mascots go. Some of those cards are like move forward. Some of them are move backwards. Some of them are fall down or turn around. So knowing that those are in the deck, that means that there's like this high chance of risk where they're going to get rotated backwards and like run off the back edge of the map.
Mhm.
Um, and then each player is dealt a couple of cards in their own hand that they can sort of like throw into the deck to sort of seed the deck. It's like secret information that you have. Because the next step then is to like bet on those mascots that you think are going to win the race, come in second, come in last, or like one particular kind of prop bet thing to happen. And it is very funny to see because they do some crazy stuff. Like I think it's the bears like always like sidestepping into the other tracks and running other mascots over. Or some of them just end up going backwards, but then they've already faced the other way, so going backwards might actually take them across the finish line. So
Yep, that definitely
there's
happened in our game.
there's some really good moments in there. But
Yeah.
the mechanic of like putting the cards into the deck and having that extra information for the bets is really cool because not only do you know which cards you're putting in, but each round you can see which cards are being removed because some of them end up back in the player's hands. It's like this kind of closed system of information. And so if I know that the turnaround card is taken out of the deck for the queen, for example, I have like this sneaky suspicion that the queen's going to do better than most other people think she is. So, man, I really love this one, Harrison. What did you think
Yeah,
of it?
this was a cool game. I would like to, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, did a good description.
Oh, thanks. I think it plays like 6 players too, doesn't it?
Hmm.
So it's a good party game.
No, I'm looking at the CMYK website right now. 2 to 9 plus.
Whoa, that's crazy.
So, yeah, it definitely exists in the party game space by that standard, but also like offers plenty of decisions to appeal to us gamers too.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I actually think I might need to add this one to my collection at some point because I can picture quite a few crowds that would enjoy this, and it's easy enough to learn. It's
Mhm.
pretty light game. All right, so that is Hot Streak from CMYK, 2025.
All right. My second game is one that I acquired in like the same year that I kind of discovered that, oh, actually, I don't have enough small games in my collection. Big games all the time is not what people want to do. And so in my mind, this game kind of represents that shift in my perspective and like the realization of the surprise that like, oh no, actually small box games are actually way more valuable, and I enjoy them a lot more than I gave them credit for. And that game is The Mind, from well, published in the US by Pandasaurus, but originally Nürnberger Spielkartenverlag. So this is a card game where you've got a deck of numbers 1 through 100. You shuffle it up, you deal one card to each player, and then without speaking, you have to play them in ascending order. And that's it. That's the whole thing. And then if you do that successfully, then you shuffle up everything and deal everyone 2 cards. And then you shuffle up again and you deal everyone 3 cards. And you just keep on doing this and see how far you can get. I think like the goal is to get up to 10 or 15 or something. We usually whiff out around 6 or 7. But just the concept that like this game is pitching itself as how do you do it? Ooh, you're actually telepathic. You develop this telepathic link with people to play the game, and the instructions really lean into that. It's just play a card, but the booklet tells you, okay, put your hands in the middle of the table, close your eyes, and then all like pick up your hands at the same time to become in sync, or like that sort of thing.
Mm.
And it's such a unique experience that surprised me for like all the reasons I said, and to also show that you think that everything has been done with numbers on cards in a small box. You're wrong. There's always something new. So and that's gonna play a little bit into my final pick too. But yeah, that's what I got going on here. You've played this, right, Corey?
No, I haven't.
You haven't? Oh.
Yeah, I'm well aware of this game, though. This is a pretty big piece of the hobby here, but never played it. Is there ever a point where all 100 cards are dealt out to players? That couldn't be, right? Because that would like break the game. Because you just obviously just count up, right?
No, I think it does, because it goes up to 4 players, and I think that you stop around 15,
Okay,
which would be about 60 cards out of the
right.
deck.
Okay.
I don't have the rules in front of me, and I haven't read them in a while, but no, I don't think it ever gets to that point.
I've always thought about getting this one for school as like a team builder. That nonverbal communication.
Keep the kids quiet for a second.
Yeah. um, that wasn't necessarily what I was thinking, but I suppose that would happen too, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
um, the the question I always have is, if you played this again with the same group, would you just kind of resolve back to the same nonverbal communication plans that you came up with the first time? You know what I'm saying? Like, does it just kind of get played out if you play with the same group of people?
So yes and no. I think on one hand, like there are some people who play this game with kind of against the spirit of the game rules, where like you can use your body language and sit back, and if you've got high cards, or like kind of inch your hand forward or lean forward if you've got low cards. And I
Mm,
think the moment
yeah.
that you explicitly talk about that strategy, the game loses its magic.
Yeah.
So yes and no to like a certain degree. If your group plays it like that, then it's probably not going to last very long. Um, but I think it's a great tool to like teach to people who aren't as deep in the hobby as we are. Like a couple years ago, I went to my grandmother was in the hospital for surgery, and it was just me and my mom in the waiting room. And I brought this along, and I was like, let's take your mind off of this. Let's play this card game. And my mom and I played a
Mm,
couple rounds of it back to back, and it just like it was such a novel experience for her.
hmm.
Um, so yeah, very group dependent for sure.
Yeah. Okay. I can see that. Yeah, I got to try it. I've been avoiding it for too long, and not on purpose. I've been interested in trying, just haven't had a chance to play it yet.
Yeah, cool. So that is my number 2 pick, The Mind.
All right, my number 3 pick is quite a bit older. It is 2011, and this is Kingdom Builder from Queen Games. Harrison, you've talked about Kingdom Builder many times. I don't think I've actually included it on one of my lists yet, which is shocking because this was like one of my top 5 games of all time at one point. It's still up there. I haven't played it much recently, Although I tried last weekend, we just didn't get it played. I have the big box and I've only like scratched the surface of what the expansion content can do because we play it with the family and they just like base game stuff. So the Kingdom Builder is such a simple game design that when you read the rule book, you get done and think, how could that even be fun? And then you
Right.
start doing it and you just find out because you discover what this game can do. And what this game could do is not obvious. And it almost feels like you're trying to like almost break the rules, kind of. Because the concept of Kingdom Builder is each player is dealt a card. The card has a different type of terrain. There's a big hex grid with like, I don't know, 4 or 5 different types of terrain. They're just, color coded fields, grasslands, forests, desert, etc., etc. And on your turn, you get to place 3 of your houses in that type of terrain. The rules are if you can play them adjacent to a previously placed house, you have to do so. So, what happens is players then start to discover that if you can't play them adjacent, you have a bigger advantage because you get to then just jump to anywhere on the map. And in a game like this, where your goals are dealt out randomly, they're different cards that represent the different goals each time. They could be things like make a straight line across the map or have the most houses in a certain sector of the board or something like that.
Mhm.
Being able to jump anywhere is a pretty big advantage because then all of a sudden your possibilities are much greater. When you have to play it adjacent, sometimes you play a turn where you just have to throw a bunch of houses down in a place that doesn't actually score you too many points or doesn't help terribly. So you're trying to just kind of strategically make it harder to find those adjacencies in future turns. Add to that each of the 4 sectors on the map has a different unique power that you can take from the board and then use. Like they're usually pretty subtle things like moving a house over another house or placing an additional house in a grassland. But those things you can really cleverly manipulate to kind of take advantage of the rules of the game, and it's really darn cool. I think this like for such a game for a game to be so simple in rules and have so much depth and decision space. It's I mean this is really the mark of a true classic. I'd say. Love
Yeah.
Kingdom Builder.
Yeah. It's on the same level as to me as like Carcassonne of
Yeah.
simple and replayable.
Yeah. So I mean, I'd say like for anyone that's never played it before, you have to dive into it because I think it does a really good example of that. Just does a lot with a very small amount of rules overhead, and I think
Mhm.
more games should take note of that and follow suit.
Yeah, come on,
Nice.
other games, do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like games that have a lot of rules too, but sometimes it's just like when things can be this elegant, it's impressive
Mhm.
to me. So that's Kingdom Builder 2011 from Queen Games.
All right, my third and final big surprise game is a little bit newer than my other ones. This is from last year, 2024, and that is another very small box card game. But the reason I'm putting it here is just because of how much I ended up liking it and how low my expectations were for playing it at all. Um, because when I got my copy of Flip 7, I got it as a free extra when I went to go buy Gnome Hollow from the op. They're like, "Oh, here, we're just giving this away to people who buy something else or spend a threshold at our booth." Uh, or it was they gave it to me because I was with another publisher. I don't remember exactly how I got this copy.
Something
But
happened.
suffice to say, I got it and I was like, "Oh, okay, this is garbage. Whatever." It even says the greatest card game right out of the box, and it's just cards and numbers. Whatever. Obviously, this was I'm the fool here, and I'm happy to brag about being the fool. Because we went and played it later that evening or the next day. Just was like, "Hey, let's just check this out as a filler," and it went over super well. It was a blast, and it was my one of my most played games last year. Probably close to yeah, something like that. It is absolutely insane just how much better this game ended up being than what I thought it was going to be.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm
So,
curious to see if
uh,
this shows up in your top 50 this year.
yeah, it's just I don't. It's just so surprising how well this game is received every time I pull it out with a new group. It's very simple. It's like, hey, you've got a card. Do you want another card? By the way, if you get doubles, you're done. Oh, how many copies are there each card? It's the number. And like the how many copies of each card is a thing that, you know, most people don't think about. Board gamers think about it, and like poker players think
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
But because it is a rule that you teach, like there's 12 12s, 11 11s, etc., that is so easy for people to latch onto and assess the risk of it, and then also understand how likely or unlikely something was when it happens to them, and that just gets everyone on the same page right away. It's excellent. It's yeah. So we've talked about Flip 7 a lot because it's great. If you have not played it before and you have a chance, go do it. Go grab a copy from your friendly local game store. Check it out. It's incredible. You will not be disappointed. You have my guarantee right here.
Yeah, that's a good point you brought up though. Like, assessing the risk is not information that's only privy to those that have played the game before. It's kind of like by design one of the core mechanics of the game. And like you said, counting poker cards is is a pretty big part of poker that you would not really grasp onto without having played a lot of poker.
Mm-hmm.
Fruit Fight, as I talked about earlier, does the same kind of thing. It has a limited number of certain cards and in different numbers of other cards, but it is abstracted. And I think Flip 7 does it right with, there's 11 11s in the game. There's 1 0. That's a little confusing, but 1 1, 2 2s, etc. So you really know that the risk is, if the risk is worth it because of, the likelihood that you're going to see another one.
Is that juice worth the squeeze?
Yeah, it is. I always go for it. I was trying to push my luck in that game, and I don't know. There's a certain point where you got to just cut your losses and say, only way I'm going to win now is if I just try to get a Flip 7, right?
Yep.
All right. So hey, we're all pretty positive on these. I don't think we had one that was surprisingly bad, did we?
No, I did have one on my list at first, and then I was like, you know what? I'm not about that kind of energy this week. So we'll save it for the next time we do big surprise episode, and we'll talk about the worst big surprises.
I don't have too many of those. I usually know what I'm getting into, but there's definitely some stinkers out there.
Who was the worst big surprise? Yeah. All right, our final surprising list is Vantage, Hot Streak, and Kingdom Builder from Corey, and I picked Small World, The Mind, and Flip 7. Whoa, that's a surprising list. All right, Corey, that's yet another episode down. We are done. In fact, Lauren is telling me that dinner's ready, so we got to wrap this up.
Yeah,
you've been doing anything besides playing board games all the time?
Nah, just a bunch of work stuff.
Oh, okay. You're not going to tell us about how your sports are doing?
My sports are doing good. Yeah. Okay. Good sports. Good. Brewers are out. Whatever. Yeah. Go Blue Jays. I don't know.
I gotta tell. I mean, have you played Slice and Dice video game?
I play it when I'm making fruit salads. No, I haven't. The video game. No.
Yeah. So Slice and Dice is a dice building roguelite that's available on iOS, Android, and Steam. It was originally on itch.io, I think. It's a very tiny little game. And the gist is you're a fantasy hero party. You've got a magic user and a healer and a rogue and a fighter and a defender or something like that. You got these 5 characters, and each one's got their own die, and each of their die faces is a unique ability. So like the healer might have 2 sides that heal for 2 and 2 sides that give 2 mana and 2 blank sides, something like that. And you do a series of fights against enemies, like random monsters, like fighting a rat and a wolf, and then they roll their dice, you see who they're going to attack, and then you get 3 chances to roll your dice and respond and try to take them out. But between each round, you get a chance to improve your party, either by getting new items or by getting new classes with more powerful like base stats and die faces. And the level of customization that you can get on these runs just feels so satisfying. Like you could get a power that's like, oh, all of your dice that have 2 pips double their sides, so now they're all 4s, or adding a growth ability, so every time you use that die, it gets 1 pip better for that fight. The level of just like depth in this is so it's so insane, Corey, that
Hmm.
I go back to this game about once every year or so. I've had it since it came out, or since I first discovered it. But they just keep adding more stuff to it. There's just more and more stuff. 2021 was the official release. It is just such a cool game. If you've not seen this before, there's a free version on iOS and Android, and then you just pay to unlock the rest of it if you like it. You can get plenty of replayability out of the base. I've bought it like 3 times at least because it's like $8 or $9 for the whole thing, and I don't remember to transfer it, and I don't care to get it when I get a new device, so I just buy it again, and I'm totally okay with that. Yeah, go
Nice.
play Slice and Dice, and also I'm very sorry for all the time you will have lost for it.
I know. I was just looking at it and thinking that. Yeah. So this is right up my alley, probably, but I didn't need to know. Thank you very much, Harrison. You are a bane to my productivity sometimes, but I love you for it because
Yep.
I like to play games too.
This is the kind of game that, like, if you and a friend are playing it, me and my friend Will would play it a lot, and we would just send screenshots back and forth, like, "Oh my god, look at this insane build I just did," because it's that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's a cool game. Yeah. Anyway, so I should go eat dinner and continue playing Slice and Dice. Anything else we want to say?
Drink water. You haven't said that in a while.
Oh,
Ooh,
yeah.
you're getting really parched.
I haven't drank water in months.
All right.
Drink water, everyone.
What do we got next time?
Oh, next week. Yeah, we do care about that. We're going to talk about a bittersweet subject, the bittersweetness of our favorite games we no longer own. And that is to say, games that we no longer own, and then the favorite amongst those. So, like, are they actually favorites? Who knows? We'll find out next week.
All right. Catch you then.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Adamantly Analog is Corey Murphy and Harrison Dunn. Original music and bumpers by Corey Murphy. To learn more, reach out to us at adamantlyanalog@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.